Hi, and welcome to the Accredited Senior Agent Program. My name is Paul Cuttajar. I am one of the principal owners of Pivotal Aging Innovations, and for those of you I have not had the pleasure in meeting, I would like to offer you an introduction to the ASA program, a brief history of Pivotal, and what has brought us to this point. I would also like to share with you some details of the ASA, as well as the Master ASA and other Pivotal programs related to the senior market. So depending on how far you take the ASA or the Master ASA program, you will often hear us talk about such terms as your story and being person-centered. In short, it is important that you know the person you are working with. After all, the more that you know about them and their history, the better you will be able to connect with them. Now, this becomes more apparent when you're working with older adults. You need to develop a connection and build on that relationship. Having said that, I'd like to build on our relationship. I would like to share with you briefly my story, how Pivotal was born, and how the Pivotal and the ASA programs came together. My story is not special, and some of you may be able to relate to it, but it is my story, and it is important to me, the same way your story is important to you. So I began my real estate career back in 2005, coming from the home renovation industry, kitchens, bathrooms, interior design. As many of us, our first years in real estate are exciting. Busy learning, frantically running around, buying fancy cars, and working towards achieving sales awards. And I was no different. I spent 12 years with RE/MAX out in Mississauga. I met several levels of awards regularly, 100% Club, the 200% Club, Lifetime Achievement, and many others. I purchased a rental property, I purchased an expensive vehicle. I was advertising, and I was networking. The best part is, people were calling. I was beating out older, more experienced agents in my farm area, and life was good. While in my prime, my father became ill. He had struggled with diabetes for a few years, and he was diagnosed with cirrhosis of the liver. His health was in decline, and it was apparent that he was going to die. At this point, he was only 59 years of age. The only chance of him surviving was by having a liver donor. Now, I'll save you the details, but if you believe in miracles, you'll love this. So a man from the church came forward and offered to be a living donor. After all the testing, he was a 100% match. Couldn't believe it. That year, he and my father were prepped and wheeled in for surgery. They both came out well and recovered over the next few months. My father would be on a regimen of anti-rejection medication for the remainder of his life, and we were well aware of that. He gained weight, his energy came back, and the donor and he became best of friends. Shortly after, he and my mother were on a trip to Italy. His energy began to fail, and on the return flight was complaining of chest pain, not in his heart, just in and around the side of his chest. And I can clearly remember the day my mother, my father, and myself being in the doctor's office when the doctor said, "Well, Mr. Cuttajar, it would appear that you have stage 4 lung cancer." Now, being the naive hotshot realtor that I was, I said, "Stage 4? That's not that bad. How many stages are there?" Well, I can't tell you how silent the room was as we digested the reality of his mortality. My life immediately changed, and over the next several months witnessed his decay, all the while being called in to be a care provider as his eldest son. My flourishing real estate career, well, that was placed on the back burner, and I was thrust into those roles that I was clearly unprepared for. I was and still am happily married to my high school sweetheart. We have 2 wonderful children, and I had no idea what I was supposed to do in caring for them, or in dealing with family dynamics, or the will, or a healthcare system, or the cancer, or the pain. I unknowingly began a change of direction for my future. Shortly after my father's passing, I had received an email invitation to become an accredited senior agent. I read the details of the program and thought, wow, I wish I had known that a few months ago. I also realized that if I struggled with health and aging parents, how many other families are experiencing the same thing, and how great would it be if I could help them transition at a time they needed help? I signed up and attended the ASA course where Mr. Barry Lebo was the instructor. I sat at the brown nosing table, front and center, eager to discover all the details. And as the course progressed, I remember looking back as if to take inventory of the people behind me. I saw many of them on their phones, some uninterested, some leaving, coming back from the bathroom, others snacking. And that's when I realized what I was being exposed to, the future. More importantly, my future. It was at that point that I realized I had discovered a true niche market. Agents were always talking about niche marketing and farming, but they were all doing the same things, just in different areas. First-time buyers, divorces, bungalows, estates, condos. Working the senior market was a true niche market, and I was betting that most of them, the agents, didn't have what it takes to work it. Now, this was 9 years ago, and many people were not thinking about the senior market as being the up-and-coming market. I don't even think the word millennial was used. So with my newfound knowledge, I set out on a path. I remember some of my colleagues at the office laughing at me, saying that seniors are too slow and they're complicated. You won't last. Seniors and real estate don't mix well. But I loved it. I began working more and more with older adults, making connections, attending trade shows, and learning more each and every time I went out. I also began noticing that when I approached a retirement home or a listing presentation, I was up against other ASA or SRES members, but I knew I could offer more than they could. I approached Chris Newell and proposed to him that I needed something to separate myself from the pack. Shortly after that, the Master Accredited Senior Agent Program was launched and was designed for a more focused, invested realtor working with seniors. I began working closely on developing programs and strategies. One of them was to expand my network of exceptional specialists. Now, you'll learn more about the network of exceptional specialists in the program, but I needed to narrow down those that were like-minded. I began building my network, and through that exercise, which, by the way, took me about 9 months, I met my now pivotal partner, Denise Bedard. Denise was coming to me from 30-plus years working in long-term care, and she shared with me a few of the programs that she had developed and the work that she had done for empowering women, empowering seniors, and empowering healthcare workers. Now remember, I'm coming from the business real estate side of things, and she is coming from this powerful, educational, government-regulated, emotional side of people as they age. We both asked, how do we make this work? And in working with the master programs, I had introduced that the masters would be the center of the network or the hub. Clients should come to us, and from there we would connect with our network of exceptional specialists. Basically, the center of the wheel. So in deciding what to name the company, we took this idea and focused it to being senior serving, and we also knew that what we were doing and about to do would be innovative. Thus the company name, Pivotal to All, Senior Focused, and Innovative, Pivotal Aging Innovations. I continued working as a master ASA while we began developing the company and designing the programs. And about 14 months after launching, we acquired the exclusive Ontario licensing for the Ashby Memory Method, which is a cognitive retention therapy program for early to mid stages of Alzheimer's and dementia. From there, we continued developing the training program for professionals to offer the AM program, as well as offered it to families wanting to do more for their loved ones. At this point, we had finalized our exclusive program for the long-term care industry, identified as RAFT, wounds, restraints, abuse, falls, and training. The program is an extensive hands-on experience, allowing long-term care homes to meet the Ministry of Health's long-term care's mandated policy and procedure with annual compliance. Now, I'm not going to get into that program, but it's a major component of Pivotal. Pivotal also offers consulting services for long-term care homes in transition, needing to meet ministry requirements, as well as consulting on transitioning older adults, regardless of it involving real estate. In January 2017, the ASA and Master ASA programs were acquired by Pivotal in order to be the first organization capable of connecting, working, and delivering on services pivotal to all those involved in caring for or transitioning older adults. And we are very excited to be able to offer these programs. Okay, now you're all probably saying, okay, Paul, great story, but let's get on with it. What's in it for me? Great. As a realtor, I always felt as an individual, regardless of you being part of a team or a high-producing brokerage. It's always my clients, my advertising, my brand, my brokerage, my team, my marketing plan, my commission structure, my awards, my credentials, my website, my billboard, my listing package. No one pays you other than a commission from a deal that successfully closed. You don't produce, you die. Now, I mentioned earlier, I am an active realtor, and I have not died, despite what my colleagues thought was going to happen in working with seniors. But what I recognized over the past 8 years or so is that this industry is fractured. We are all working as individuals slaying for a commission. In particular, the senior market, and those working within it often find it challenging to work with realtors because of how we work individually. Pivotal ASA and Master ASA is out to change that perception. As far as we know, Pivotal is the only organization that offers services to the senior industry on several levels. Pivotal is working on unifying the message to the industry and those offering services within it. Pivotal is now able to connect with companies and offer our programs, of which include a network of Canadian realtors trained to work with older adults. It allows you to differentiate yourself as being an active licensee of a larger, senior-focused company that offers many touch points, such as long-term care homes, retirement homes, consulting services, dementia programs, dementia doors, community advisors, and service providers. And as for a UVP, that will be discussed within the program. The Pivotal ASA program provides realtors with advanced tools and understanding to identify senior opportunities within your business. The Pivotal Master ASA program is committed to delivering high-quality, value-packed resources, top-level understanding, and a higher-level education to exceptional realtors to empower them to provide outstanding service to their senior clients and families. Now, there's a heavy emotional component to an older person making a decision to transition out of their family home to whatever it is that they're transitioning to. They may be downsizing, moving in with adult kids, house to condo, retirement community, retirement homes, sale and rent back, simply renting, illness or disability requirements, long-term care, palliative, or estate and probate. It's not as simple as sign here, sold, thank you, here's a gift. This transition almost always involves the whole family and family history that long predates this huge transition. There are essential conversations that may be needed and that you may have to activate. Agents can best serve clients when they understand as much as possible about what has preceded the transition. What is the story that has led them to this point? I'd like to mention that one of our master ASAs, Trudy Johnson, so eloquently introduced us to the gentle yet important aspect of asking, "Tell me your story." And this discovery of a person's story is the backbone of Pivotal being person-centered. So in fact, some of you are probably here because of a personal experience that has opened your eyes to dealing with seniors, such as your parents. Or you yourself may be facing challenges related to being an older adult. In putting yourself in a senior's position, just think about how you would feel if your kids sat you in a chair and forced you to watch as they throw out all of your life's personal possessions and memories into the bin on the driveway. Or having a young hotshot agent coming in and telling you, buyers don't like the stuff you have and it all needs to be replaced with modern stuff. We're going to stage the whole house. It's true, we are all getting older. But we all still feel viable and important regardless of our age. And if that doesn't connect with you, who set up your smartphone? Your grandchild or the 20-something at the Apple store? We are all getting old, but we shouldn't be dismissed, and our senior clients shouldn't be either. They are the reason why we're here. Now, we've been asked, so what's the difference between SRES and ASA? Well, besides the obvious US and Canada, and yes, I am aware that they do have a Canadian version, but I'm sure Barry Lebo would love to share with you the beginning of the SRES story and how ASA came to be. But most agents that have their SRES will also have their ABR. It should be noted that most receive their SRES as an elective in achieving their targeted ABR designation. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but we know we can empower you to do more. Now that there are no CE credits, we have a natural process whereby only agents with an interest in becoming an ASA will register. We would prefer quality over quantity. Two other major differences of the SRES and Pivotal ASA is that we offer you a list of additional resources. These can be viewed within your onboarding package. A unique resource is having access to the Pivotal Consultation Service, where we can work with your clients in preparing them for their transition, basically doing all the hard work ahead of time. Once ready, they will be returned to you, ready for you to take the listing, if that was their goal. This allows you to focus on your business while your client is being prepared. And finally, the Pivotal ASA program is person-centered. We offer an understanding that working with seniors and older adults often involves emotion, frustration, compassion, empathy, investment of time and patience. Discovering their story and why they have called us is an integral part of an older adult's transition. SERS stated, and I quote, "Stay focused on the transaction and avoid inappropriate involvement in family matters." Quote. It is not strictly transactional as the SRES suggests. I understand the limits of a realtor and how they should work. However, Pivotal can work beyond that. In fact, the transaction is often the final step in the process. You know, I have always said real estate has been the number one source of wealth building for the average Canadian. And most Canadians are relying on their home's equity to either fund or subsidize their retirement, whatever that may look like. So it would make perfect sense that Canadians use a realtor that understands the importance of their investment and offer them solutions that provide improved quality of life or lifestyle as they transition. And finally, I wanted to share this thought with you. Rich people don't have transition issues. They can pay for whatever they want or need. What they can't pay for is time, emotional connection, and having someone understand who they truly are. Coincidentally, the middle class or the working class or less fortunate can't pay for time either, and that puts everyone on a level playing field. As we age, time becomes more valuable, but just because we are getting older doesn't mean we are less valued. You have a story, and they have a story. The senior market is still very young and offers continual growth. If you can connect and understand your client without putting yourself first, I think you will be well on your way to closing more deals. On behalf of the Pivotal ASA team, we would like to thank you for sharing your time with us and choosing to empower yourselves and your clients. Thank you, and I hope to connect with each of you in the near future. To your continued success.